Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Tom and welcome back to a brand new video on round 12 of the season for the Mick Schumacher career mode, and we are here for Mick's home race, the German Grand Prix, in a track where obviously the German is going to want to try and prove himself and try and put in a good shift in front of his home fans, and also, you know, just continue the Schumacher name in front of the German crowd and try and put on a show here. Obviously, every race so far this season, as per usual, he scored points in every race, and the question is, will he keep it up this weekend once again around this track? And you'd obviously expect him to, especially because obviously the car is no longer the worst car on the grid. So we're going to see how things shape up for the race weekend. But delving into practice, and things are going reasonably well for him. He only set one green lap, I believe, and actually no, two green laps, and I believe the rest of them were purple. So a very successful tyre wear test, and we're now going to move later on into the qualifying test. But as you can see, we're going to come across the line now, and Mick's going to get basically a flawless purple point cumulative total in the track acclimatization, the tyre wear test, and also the qualifying performance. So a very successful qualifying session here for Mick Schumacher, and the story of qualifying will be rather interesting, because obviously the question is, how far up the grid can he get this Manor car in a track where he's desperately wanting to improve and try to prove himself to the fans as the next big name in Formula 1. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the qualifying report for the German Grand Prix. So delving into qualifying on the Saturday afternoon here at the Hockenheim Ring, and the grandstands are absolutely packed, which is quite unrealistic compared to real life, at least the last year's race anyway. But as you can see, it's a beautiful sunny day, and one of my favourite circuits on the calendar, and also one of Mick Schumacher's favourite circuits, and I believe also his father's one of his favourites as well. So as you can see, currently in Q1, Verline's in first place, but Mick's gone out on the soft tyre instead. Bit of a split strategy there, and he gets into P3, and he comfortably gets through, and that lap will actually get him through into Q2, but not as comfortably as he thought, as it's only just on the bubble in P16. So a very, very close Q1 session, and only just scraping through there on the soft tyre. But now moving into Q2 and realising that he was in the bubble in Q1, he had to step up the pace a little bit, and we're going to run on board for the entirety of this lap now, swinging it into turn 1, trying to run as wide as you can on entry, cutting across the apex of turn 1, and then run as wide as you can on the exit as we now go down into turn 2, third gear corner. Make sure you pick up the apex, Mick just ever so slightly misses the apex there as we now go flat out through 3, use all the curb at your disposal, and so far so good, as the purple first sector is on the marks here as we now go along this massive back straight. DRS wide open, hitting almost 340 k's as you slow it down at the 100-meter board for second gear into the hairpin slowest corner on the track here. You could use first if you choose to, but second works better, I believe, especially for Mick in this particular car. But getting on the power now, as you can see, going through turn 6 or 7, I believe, flat out through a sort of kink into the Mercedes-Benz grandstand section, locking up the left front ever so slightly, and missing the apex just a little bit as we now swing it through this very fast right-hander, almost flat out through here, trying to hit the second sector split. We're still 2 tenths up on Valtteri Bottas, now going into the stadium section through this right-hander, one of the best corners on the track, as much speed as possible through there as we swing it into this cambered 180-degree left-hander, and now through the final little flip-flop chicane into the final 2 corners here. As you can see, fourth gear, trying to get on the apex, trying to run as wide as you can, and try and carry the momentum through the final corner, get on the traction, run as wide as you can, and here we go across the line. It's going to be P1 for Q2 for the time being, and obviously, when the session ended, it wouldn't be Q1 by the, it would be P1 by the end of the session, but it's still a very successful Q2 session, and that would see Mick getting a very solid performance there, and really putting a good lap out the bag to get him into Q3. And now, speaking of Q3, it's a very wet session, and the rain arrived, and it was intermediate conditions, which normally provides an opportunity to try and get a good grid position. And as you can see, in the first sector, he's actually 3 tenths down on Daniel Ricciardo. As we move now later on to the second sector split, we're going to see where Mick is compared to the Honey Badger, and he's now half a second down. So losing a little bit of time in this lap as we now skip on to the final cut of this lap through the final corner. And the question is, where is Mick Schumacher going to qualify in his home Grand Prix? Getting out of shape through the final corner across the line, and it's going to be P5 by the look of it, and not a bad qualifying session there for the German in his home race. So a pretty decent qualifying session, P5 for Mick Schumacher there in the German Grand Prix, and quite an interesting grid actually, and overall P5 is a good opportunity to try and mix it up with those around him and try and get a good result, and you know, try and mix it up with the Mercedes, Red Bulls and Ferraris a little bit, and try and have a bit of a good performance in the race tomorrow. So without further ado, let's jump right into the Sunday race. So moving on to Sunday for the German Grand Prix. As you can see, it's very overcast conditions, but luckily it's not wet, so it's dry, so it should be okay to start on the tyres that we qualified in Q2, and the conditions apparently, according to the weather forecast, are going to be dry throughout until the end, where there is rain expected. So there might be a little bit of a sprinkle towards the end of the Grand Prix, so we've got to try and keep an eye out for that. Mick's got to try and plan a strategy around that very particular occurrence. But as you can see right now, we've got a bit of a shock pole position. We've got Valtteri Bottas in pole position on the Williams, so he really did pull one out the bag there yesterday in qualifying, so good job from him there. But the Williams car really improving, and there are rumours in the paddock floating around that Mick Schumacher could be on his way to Williams next season as his next step up in terms of his Mercedes driver program. So we have to keep an eye on that development. But as you can see, we've got Sebastian Vettel also there in a very good qualifying position for him, also in his home race. But we're going to focus on the 5 red lights now for the German Grand Prix. Let's see how things shape up here. 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go for the German Grand Prix, round 12 of the season, and we're underway, and a pretty good start from Mick Schumacher getting the better of Verstappen on the inside as we go into turn 1 for the first time. Everybody going very slowly here, got to be very careful for contact as we now go on board with Mick Schumacher, going to swoop to the inside for turn 2. Is he going to try and make a move here up the inside of Verstappen? Yes, he does, and Ricciardo and Hamilton, a little bit of contact between those two there, but now look at this, Mick goes around the outside of Verstappen through turn 3, brilliant move there, Verstappen trying to hold it in there, but the Red Bull not as fast as the man in a straight line. Now look at this massive slipstream that Mick Schumacher has. He goes around the outside of Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton into the hairpin, which will then become the inside, and he's gone from all the way from P5 up into P2 there, so great move from Mick Schumacher there, overtaking a series of cars on that back straight. But now Lewis Hamilton is coming back at Mick Schumacher in that Mercedes. Here he goes up the inside, side by side, through the flat out kink into the Mercedes-Benz grandstand. Is he going to go around the outside? Yes, he is. He's on the soft tyre. Can he pull it off? It looks like he might have just pulled it off, and yes, he does. Lewis up into P2, but look at this, Mick cuts back underneath him. Is he going to try and go up the inside into his next right-hander? No, he doesn't. He thinks better of it, and he settles behind him into P3. But a brilliant first lap here from Mick Schumacher, and Bottas meanwhile setting the pace up front, streaking away there in his Williams car. But as you can see, moving on to the lap 3, onto the start, lap 4, fastest lap of the Grand Prix from Mick Schumacher, so good pace on this super soft tyre. Literally Lewis Hamilton was pulling away, but Mick settled into a really nice rhythm this race, and the pace was really there in the man of cars. You can see in the very next lap setting yet another fastest lap of the race, and this particular lap, as you can see, getting much closer to Lewis Hamilton, opening up DRS here. And is he going to try and go for a move into turn 2? Probably not. However, there's a much more tasty DRS zone coming up now, and this is after turn 3, so let's see what happens here as Mick's going to open up DRS right about in the next 3 seconds, and there you go, DRS wide open now, and here he goes picking up the slipstream on Lewis Hamilton. He's going to do a little bit of a dummy, but Tony's going to go to the inside, feint to the outside, and he pulls off the move quite comfortably with a massive amount of straight line speed, and he's up into P2, re-overtaking Lewis Hamilton on raw pace alone. And also the both of them also catching Valtteri Bottas, who speaking of which actually pit a few laps ago because he was on super soft, so this momentarily promotes Mick Schumacher into the lead of the race. However, Lewis Hamilton now on the soft tyres, because those tyres are a little bit in better shape than the super softs, he's coming back into this little battle a little bit, and here he goes with DRS wide open. Mick's going to give him a good old squeeze to the inside of the track, but Lewis is still going to try and commit to the move up the inside. Mick runs in purposely deep to try and get a better exit line. A little bit of contact there between the two of them, but Mick pulls off the move and he holds on to the lead of the race for the time being until the end of the lap, where he's going to come in for his first stop of the race, I believe. And as you can see, Lewis Hamilton's actually going to follow him into the pit lane, getting onto the gravel a little bit, really trying to maximise the pit lane entry here. But a very good first stint from Mick Schumacher here in his first home race, and really putting on a clinic. And overall, you could argue he's the fastest man on track out of everybody, because if he was beating Lewis Hamilton or being on a slower tyre, then why can't he challenge for the race? When, as you can see, Lewis has switched over to mediums, and so has Mick Schumacher. So both of them thinking the same idea. Obviously, the rain is coming, you know, it's on the horizon, it's coming towards the end of the race, so why not just go into medium and try and switch straight to the intermediates once these tyres run out of tyre life. So as you can see, we've got a little bit of a train of cars up ahead here, and Lewis Hamilton actually gets caught up in the mix of it, and this is going to allow an opportunity for Mick Schumacher to try and make a move here. And is he going to try and go up the inside of Lewis Hamilton? Yes, he does, and he pulls off a nice easy move up the inside for P9, and obviously benefiting from the fact that Lewis Hamilton was tripped up by the Jaguar of Carlos Sainz. As we move now onto the back straight, DRS wide open from this beautiful panning camera shot here, and the question is, will Mick try another go on the brakes on Carlos Sainz? He's going to think about it, but he thinks better of it, and he doesn't go for the move just yet. And the Jaguar car, obviously not too bad on the brakes there, but as you can see on the exit of the corner now, is Mick going to try and make a move into the next corner? Possibly. He's got a nice bit of slipstream underneath him here, and is he going to try and go for it on the fresh tyres? He's going to think about it, and yes he does. A nice late braking move up the inside of the left-hander at the Mercedes-Benz grandstand, and he pulls it off for P8 there. So very nice move from the German on Carlos Sainz, and overall some very efficient and effective overtakes so far from Mick, trying to get through this train of cars. And the crucial thing is, the more cars he puts in between himself and Lewis Hamilton, the better. So As you can see, moving on to midway through lap 10 now, he's behind Danny Kvyat in the other Jaguar. And he's going to try and go for a move into the braking. He's going to think about it, and he's actually going to go for it as well. A brilliant late braking move into the hairpin there from Mick Schumacher, and he pulls one out of the bag. Incredible stuff compared to Sainz. Kvyat braking much earlier than compared to his teammates. So as you can see, now at the end of lap 10, Verlaine and Stroll pitted for their first stop of the race. And that's actually going to put Mick right at the back of Stoffel Van Dorn, who is on some very worn medium tyres, I believe. And as you go through turn 1 now, on lap 11, he's going to pick up the DRS and open it up. And as you can see, look at the speed difference here between the McLaren Honda and the Manor. As you can see, slides up the inside of Stoffel. Stoffel trying to match him on the brakes, but it's no use as Mick makes the move up into P3, up the inside of the Belgian driver. And then we skip all the way on to lap 12, where Mick is actually in the lead of the race once everybody did their pit stop. But now Lewis Hamilton is fighting back on the medium tyres, trying to go around the outside of the hairpin. It actually makes it stick quite easily because of the DRS assistance. So Lewis back into the lead of the German Grand Prix here on lap 12. As we move on to lap 13, the battle was officially resumed between these two, who were really scrapping over in the first stint, and Mick was trying to go around the outside of Lewis Hamilton there, but couldn't get the job done on the brakes. However, he gets a good exit out of that corner. He's going to try and think of going for a move up the inside, just like he did on Carlos Sainz. He thinks about it, but he decides better of it. But Lewis locks up into the corner. There's contact, and they're going side by side into this next corner, but Lewis just holds the inside line. But Mick switches back on him beautifully. Is he going to try and go for the move? Not quite, and Lewis defends for the time being. But a little bit of contact between these two once again as we move on to lap 18, and Lewis officially really put that Mercedes car to the test, and he bolted away on those medium tyres. And now Daniel Ricciardo on the soft tyres is looking to get in on the action here. As you can see, here comes the Honey Badger, DRS wide open. That Red Bull, obviously Tag Heuer branded engine, really powerful car now. And is he going to try and make a move? Yes, he does. He pulls it off quite nicely, but Mick's going around the outside. He's going to switch back on him beautifully. And look at that switchback, absolutely flawless stuff. Picks up the traction, and he leaves Ricciardo in the dust. Absolutely brilliant move. And later on that lap, Ricciardo would actually end up pitting for a pit stop, so obviously that would be the end of that battle. However, moving on to lap 20, Nico Rosberg is now the next man who's caught up to Mick Schumacher, and there's a bit of contact there going to the hairpin. Rosberg been very aggressive, and he's actually going to spin him round. He's been spun round by Rosberg, and then Mick's now backwards at the hairpin. So Rosberg spinning his fellow German, his fellow countryman around at the hairpin. So controversy here at Hockenheim, and let's look at a replay to see what happened, whether it was just a stupid incident or whether Mick was driving a bit carelessly. And there's the first bit of contact, and then the second time round, Rosberg just catches him with his front wing and sends him for a spin. So let me know in the comments, guys, who you thought, whose fault that was. But I just think Rosberg there just very careless and not really having much thought for Mick Schumacher there, just completely spin him out there. So very controversial incident there, and that's going to put Mick Schumacher back a few places, and also wear out his tyres a little bit as he has to do a flick spin on the grass. So as we move on to lap 21, we've got a team radio now. So
light rain arriving in 15 minutes.
So there we have it, light rain in 15 minutes, which is quite interesting, because as the laps progressed, the Manor team realised that it wasn't really 15 minutes away, because the rain was coming at a very slow rate, and at this point Mick's medium tyres were really starting to get a battering, and he's really struggling with his tyres. But as you can see now, Lewis Hamilton on the soft tyres has made an extra pit stop. He's going to try and go for a move. As you can see, side by side, Mick giving him a good old squeeze to the inside, but Lewis Hamilton's going to make the move anyway, as Mick tries to go around the outside. Can he defend from Lewis Hamilton? Yes, he can. He's still got enough life in those tyres to hold back the British three-time world champion, and he makes the move, and he holds on to P1 for the time being. And Lewis is going to try and think about a move up the inside, but he decides to stick behind him for the time being. But a few laps to go, 9 laps to go in this race, but the medium tyres are really starting to struggle. And as you can see, 64% on the left front, understeering wide through the final corner. Here comes Lewis Hamilton with a massive slipstream. He's going to try and slide up the inside. Is he going to make the move? Yes, he does, but Mick cuts back on him beautifully through turn 1. Absolutely genius driving there, and he once again holds on to the lead of the race. So really nice switch back there and defensive driving from Mick Schumacher, holding Lewis Hamilton behind him for the time being, as we now go into the back straight. And obviously this time Lewis Hamilton with DRS assistance is going to try and make the move here on the German. And here we go then. Lewis is open up the rear flap already. Here he comes, DRS wide open. Look at the way he's gaining on the Manor car. He's going to go up the inside. Mick's going to squeeze him a little bit as we go into the hairpin, and we've got a lap car, Felipe Nasr, for traffic here. And it's actually going to get boxed in, and he's fully boxed in between the two cars. And look at this, he just can't get out. Lewis Hamilton just squeezed him into Nasr, and Ocon goes by, and I believe now Rosberg, there's more contact, end plate gone, Rosberg and Ricciardo go past, so it's all going hectic here at Hockenheim. Mick re-overtakes Ricciardo momentarily, and he's now down to P3 as Rosberg is into the lead of the race. So Rosberg, the man who initially spun Mick Schumacher out, is now leading the German Grand Prix, and now Mick's missing an end plate as well. So Mick's really struggling now with these worn tyres and this damaged end plate. Look at this, 72% on the left front tyre now, lap 28, and the rain is still not coming, which is a real big concern for the Manor team. And Mick's really out at sea here, struggling with his tyres. And here we go now, lap 28, Ricciardo and Raikkonen trying to go up the inside at the hairpin, but Mick goes around the outside. Is he going to defend from Ricciardo? There's a bit of contact with Raikkonen, and looks like Ricciardo's now officially made that move for P3, and now Mick's got to try and defend from Kimi Raikkonen, but really running out of tyres here, running really thin on tyre life, and the rain's still not arriving at this point. Thinking about a possible strategy change onto soft tyres with 6 laps to go, because he's still in P4, but at the same time, if the rain arrives in the next few minutes, then it's probably the best option. As you see, asking for the weather report to see where the rain is, but meanwhile Raikkonen going up the inside of the stadium section and making the move up into P5, and Mick's just losing positions left, right and centre now on these very, very worn tyres, which are nearing the puncture territory, and really struggling overall here. As you can see, Verstappen now behind Mick Schumacher, and is he going to try and size him up for a move now on the exit of this corner? As you can see, go for the final corner, Mick understeering wide, getting out of shape. Verstappen goes up the inside. Is he going to make the move into turn 1? He's going to go for it, but Mick switches back underneath him, just like he did on Lewis Hamilton. Beautiful little switch back once again there, but Verstappen also has DRS. Is he going to try and go around the outside? He's going to think about it, but he thinks better of it. Can't pull it off. Bottas, a little bit of contact there with Verstappen as those two bang tyres, and Mick's going to hold on for a little while longer in his current position, but really under threat right now. It's like being bombed from left, right and centre at the moment, and Mick really out at sea in the middle of nowhere, no man's land on these tyres. And as we move on to lap 30 now, Valtteri Bottas has overtaken Verstappen. The race, the man who started the race in pole position, is now going to go up the inside of Mick Schumacher. And look at the left front on Mick's car, 79%, absolutely screaming hot. And as you can see, Bottas is going to make the move. Mick Schumacher tries to go around the outside, but he just can't pull it off. However, he's going to have DRS here on the finished driver. He's going to go back up the inside here, overtaking Bottas once again, because the man has no slouch in a straight line. But look at this, a 3-car scrap here, and also Raikkonen and Ricciardo battling up ahead up the road, and just an incredible scrap here. 2 Williams, Red Bull and the Manor car battling for position. Bottas has to sit behind Mick Schumacher for the time being, but he's got a nice bit of slipstream here. Is he going to go for the move up the inside? He's going to try and think about it, but Mick goes a bit defensive, running it nice and wide, and he holds on for now in P5. But these final few laps are so tense, and the rain is still not arriving. So where is the rain? Because this is really starting to affect Mick Schumacher majorly. And here comes Bottas up the inside. He makes the move just like Kimi Raikkonen did, and he's up into P5. And Mick just really, he's just in no man's land now at the minute. 81% on the left front, and now the warning signs come up for a puncture alert. So got to be very careful now. This is a very crucial part of the race, and also, you know, understeering like a bus with a damaged front wing as well. So, you know, and let's not forget this is a Manor car, which doesn't have a lot of downforce anyway. And now here comes Max Verstappen. Is he going to go up the inside this time? Yes, he does. Is Mick going to try and think about the switchback? But Max Verstappen holds it a bit nicer this time, and they're going to go side by side into turn 2. But now look at this, Lance Stroll starts one up the inside, and then momentarily 3 wide. Mick cuts back underneath, loses more in play, and there's more contact, and now his front wing is fully damaged, and now Mick's severely in trouble. 83% on the left front, and the front wing is now red on the left front, and there's contact. And I think personally that might have been Mick Schumacher's fault, because he hit the back of Lance Stroll. Mick trying to stay out for one more lap, hoping for the rain to arrive. We've only got 3 laps to go in this race, and this time Verstappen goes up the inside, and Mick doesn't have the downforce or the tyre life to cope. And we've now got, I think, lap cars, I believe, behind who eventually do overtake, which are Nasser and Ocon. However, at the end of lap 32, the rain finally arrived, and it was time to switch on to the intermediate. It wasn't even that wet, but the tyres and the front wing were that badly damaged that Mick needed to switch over right now to intermediates and just try and salvage something out of this race. He's going to drop a lot of positions. He's going to drop all the way down to P16 after his pit stop, because the field is fairly close this race, and I think it's going to be very hard for him to get points this race, which I'm starting to wonder, is his streak of points going to come to an end at this race? We have to wait and see as he gets the front wing change onto intermediate tyres, as you can see there. And now the question is the track going to be wet enough for these tyres? Exiting the pit lane now, he gets all out of shape one time, and then he gets all out of shape a second time into the wall, luckily keeping his car in one piece there. But the track, as you can see, not in conditions for intermediates just yet. However, 1 lap later, at the end of lap 34, as you can see, Rosberg's already won the race. The man who originally spun Mick Schumacher out controversially, and now Mick's right behind Fernando Alonso. As you can see, the Inters were working quite nicely. And the question is, how many positions can Mick gain in this final part of that? Because the points, I wouldn't say they're ruled out completely yet, because there are still a few cars who he can pass up into P10. So as you can see, he gets past Alonso up into P15, and now Romain Grosjean is next. He's going to try and dive one up the inside of the French driver. Yes, he does. Nice and aggressive up the inside there on Grosjean. And now he's got a series of cars, I believe 2 Jaguars and Renault, I believe, in this final part of the track. But the question is, I think it's only going to be good enough for P11 unless there's another car that I haven't seen yet. But there's the 2, there's the Jaguar and the Renault, so he gets past those 2 just about. And there's the other Jaguar of Denis Kvyat. And is there points on the horizon here? Is there one more car from now to the finish line? Looks like there isn't, and it looks like no, it's going to be P11, and it's the first time ever in his career that Mick Schumacher is only going to, he's not going to score any points in a Grand Prix in Formula 1. So, very disappointing, and the fact that it had to happen in his home race is very, very unfortunate. As you can see, Nico Rosberg winning the race, like I said, controversially, because he spun Mick Schumacher early on in the race, and Mick finished down in P11, so a very unfortunate one there for the German driver, and I think he'll be absolutely gutted with that one, and that's going to be a big fat 0 in the World Drivers' Championship. And speaking of, as you can see, he's now going to drop into P6, so losing a position there in the World Drivers' Championship, but crucially still in the mix. You know, that top 6 or 7 drivers are still in the mix there, so there's still a good chance that Mick can try and fight for the title later on in the season, but it's going to be a long shot in the Manor car. And also looking at the constructors, Manor remain in 4th place. But overall, that was the German Grand Prix round 12 of the season. If you guys did enjoy it, then a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated, as it shows that you support these videos and also you just enjoy my content. And also, if you're new to this channel, then I do appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel for future content like this and other new videos coming very soon, a new series. And if you did miss any of the videos on the screen right now, guys, I do urge you to go check them out if you haven't done so already. But I thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video very soon, hopefully tomorrow. And yeah, guys, that's about this video. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.